In the last video, we talked about if-else statements. Logical operators are another tool we can use that allows us to check for complex conditions in our programs. Let me show you how they work. Before we get started, if you find this video useful or if you have any questions, I would love to hang out with you. I stream on Twitch every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You can also find me on Discord. The links for those are in the description down below. Now then, the best way to describe what logical operators are and what they do is to simply show each one in turn and explain how it works. So starting off at the top, we have the not operator, as indicated by the exclamation point. In the example, we have the condition if not true variable equals false, we print out the statement, you solve the paradox. The way that a not operator works is that it simply inverts the value of a given variable. This is particularly true with Boolean variables. So if a Boolean variable, for example, is set to true, then stating not that variable makes that variable false. And if that variable is false, then stating not that variable makes it true. This is particularly useful whenever you want to check for conditions in your program that are opposite of the way that you want them to function. You use the not operator by placing an exclamation point in front of the variable you want to invert. Next, we have the and operator, as indicated by the $2 and signs. In our example, we state if your name equals Bob and my name equals Ross. Then we print out the statement, you should paint together. The way that a and operator works is that it checks if both conditions that are being compared are true. And this just makes logical sense. Whenever we speak in everyday life, we say, if this happens and this happens, then I'll do this. So it works in just the same way in software terms. Next, we have the or operator, as indicated by the two pipe signs. In our example, we state, if your name equals Julie, or your name equals James, then we print out the statement, you've got a great name. In the case of the or operator, only one of the two conditions being compared must be true. They can also both be true, but it's only necessary that one is true. And again, this makes logical sense. Whenever we speak in everyday life, we say, if this thing happens or this thing happens, then I will do this thing. And again, it is the same in software terms. Next, we have the does not equal operator, as indicated by the exclamation point and two equal signs. In our example, we have the condition that if the current number does not equal 1, then we print out the statement, you didn't win, sorry. As the name implies, the does not equal operator allows us to check if a variable indeed does not equal the value we are trying to avoid. Moving on, we have the greater than operator, as indicated by the right pointing caret. And this works exactly in the way that it would in math problems. So in our example, we have the condition, if the current number is greater than 1, we print out the statement, at least you're not alone. In the same token, we have the greater than or equal to operator. And this, again, works in the same way as you would expect it to in a math problem. So in our example, we state, if the current number is greater than or equal to 2, we print out the statement, it just takes 2 to party. Conversely, we have the less than operator, which again works in the same exact way that you would expect it to in math. So if the current number is less than 1, we print out the statement, you've hit rock bottom. At the same time, we have the less than or equal to operator, which in our example, we say if the current number is less than or equal to 2, we print out the statement, hey, it could be worse. It's worth pointing out that the greater than and less than operators do not include the number that you are trying to check against. So in our first example, where we say if the current number is greater than 1, in order for this statement to be true, current number must be 2 or more. Conversely, the greater than or equal to and the less than or equal to operators do include the number that you are checking against. So in this case, where we say if current number is greater than or equal to 2, current number can be 2 or greater. We can also combine logical operators in order to check for truly complex conditions. In our example, we have the condition if your name equals Julie or your name equals James and the current number does not equal 1, then we print out the statement, you've met all the requirements. You'll notice that your name equals Julie or your name equals James is in its own set of parentheses. This allows us to prioritize how we check for our conditions. Just like when working with numbers, adding parentheses around a set of values allows you to state that you want this set of values to be evaluated first before evaluated against the rest of the conditions. In short, adding parentheses allows you to check for the conditions in the exact way that you need them to be checked. And finally, let's talk about how equality works in JavaScript. When we want to determine if two values are equal or the same, there are two ways to do this. One option is to use the equality operator, as indicated by the two equal signs. Comparing two things with the double equals will determine if the content of the two values are the same. For example, 5 as a string, double equals 5, will return true because the contents of the two values are the same, irregardless of the fact that 5 as a string and 5 as a number are not the same data types. Conversely, we could use the strict equality operator, as indicated by the triple equal sign. Comparing two things with the strict equality operator will determine if both the content and the data type of two values are the same. For example, 5 as a string, triple equals 5 as a number, will return false because you are comparing a string and a number. In order for this to be true, you would need to evaluate either 5 as a string, triple equals 5 as a string, or 5 as a number, triple equals 5 as a number. The strict equality operator is the best way to check for equality in most cases because it checks for equality in all aspects, not just the content. Therefore, you have a much less chance to get a false positive or negative in your value comparisons. This is the basic info you'll use every day when dealing with equality. If you would like more information on how exactly equality works in more cases, I'll leave a few links for you in the description down below. Finally, it is important to note that a single equal sign is the assignment operator. We've seen this many times already throughout these videos. This is how we give a variable a value. If you use an assignment operator to check for equality, you will likely break your program in some way. So be sure to use the triple equals sign when checking for equality. And that just about covers the basics of how to use logical operators in JavaScript. In the next video, we'll talk about how to run sections of your code multiple times using loops. So if you found this video useful, like and subscribe so you can be notified of future videos. If you have any questions about anything covered in this video, feel free to catch me on Twitch or Discord, or leave your question in the comments. Thanks for watching, and stay awesome.